Greetings, I'm Brien Miller, designer of Engage and Destroy for Compass Games, and this is one of a series of short videos to talk a little bit about the game mechanics. Now, the whole purpose of Engage and Destroy is to be able to recreate in a tournament style armored combat in World War II, anytime really between the 1930s and the 1940s. Up until you get to very sophisticated armored vehicles. But our focus is going to be World War II. Our initial game is going to be on the Eastern Front, and we're going to offer two maps. One that is a generic map, which you're looking at. We call this the Debrecen map. That's our working name for it. Some of this is going to change. And a map of Prokhorovka, which is the main tank action at Kursk. This video will focus on operation points, or OPs. Operation points are how you gain points to spend on your combat units. Combat units each have a cost. You gain operation points at the beginning of the game. It's a fixed number, and you gain more as you take over pieces of the map. So let's take a look at this map really quickly. Here is a starting position. We normally use this one for the Germans, but they can swap either side. This is the one we use for the Russians on this side. And there are zones within the map, and you can see the zones. I'm going to come in on this one. This is the southern zone. You take all three of these positions. You can then bring units in here at this southern position instead of all the way back over here. As you can see here, so you get to instead of just bringing units in within 2 hexes of this, you get to bring units in with 2 hexes of this. If you capture the center sections, which you can see is much more spread out, you can then bring units in here, and then as you capture units or capture these 3 positions here, you can bring units in this very forward position, and vice versa, going the other way for the other side. But here's how you get units. You start with 100 points. It's like a tournament style miniatures game where you start with points, and you start with a pool, and those points can be spent. So you spend them around your headquarters. There's your headquarters. Within 2 hexes of that is where you can bring in units. Every unit has a cost. As an example, the next unit here, there is a Panzer IV-G in the game, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it right there. You can see that number 9 right there? That is the point cost in op points that you have to spend in order to gain that unit. So as you gain units, or as you buy units, you obviously decrease from your point pool. The way it works right now is that when you gain the next section here, the next portion of this map, this first southern, you're going to gain 15 extra points. You gain 20 extra points here for the center, and another 15 over on this side. When you get inside this ring close to the opponent's headquarters, then you deny the opponent a certain amount of points. And there's a bit of a steamroll aspect to it. It's designed that way so that the game doesn't go on forever and ever. So let's take a look at what the German might spend, and you get a little sense of this. We're going to go back and look at our headquarters right here and tilt the map so we can see it fairly quickly. So we've got a number of armored vehicles. I'm going to pop them in. There's a 4H on that side, and both of them are 9 points. And then we've got a Stug 3G right here. You can see it's an 8-point unit. And then we're going to bring in a truck, which is only 2 points. We can bring in a SDKFZ 250. It's 4 points. Then we come down to infantry. This is key. You can see all the infantry here. These are 2 assault infantry units indicated by the assault rifle, and they cost 4. And there's 2 rifle units, or there's a rifle unit. You can see it costs 3. And the other unit is not actually a rifle unit. It's a mortar unit, and it costs 4. Additionally, you can spend money on 2 other things. Primarily off-map artillery. That 11 right there is the cost. You get to hold on to this until you want to use it. And then additionally, although we haven't worked out all the costs and all the techniques yet for use of them, you can buy aircraft depending on the scenario that you choose. So what you're looking at right now, ignoring the aircraft because we do not have a cost on the aircraft, we'll just take the aircraft off. What you're actually looking at is a total of 50 points. And that means you'd have another 50 to spend at the startup, unless you were using a 50-point game. But a 50-point game is somewhat tight to be able to take all of these positions. Additionally, there are other positions on the map, such as this area here. This area, there's a number of them around the map that gets you or gains you additional capabilities called command points. But we'll do another video on command points in a bit. But that's essentially opPoints. And the key fact to remember is that if you gain this position here and you're deploying units forward at this location, you're now buying to 115 opPoints. If for any reason you lose one of these, you lose this forward position, and you go back to 100 points, but whatever is on the map you keep until your units are destroyed sufficient to get you below 100 and to be able to buy one of the other units that are available to you. So you keep what you have even though your cap has dropped, and then when you fall below it, then you can buy again. Again, the game is designed that way on purpose to keep the game moving forward. So that's Engage and Destroys. That's its opPoints. So thank you for checking this video out, and I guarantee you we'll have some more coming soon. Thank you. Take care.